The sea is never forgiving. It whispers stories in waves, hides truths beneath its surface, demands respect with every storm. For years, Deadliest Catch has shown us this unforgiving world. But lately, one captain's journey has become more than a sea tale. It's become a human battle. Bill Wild Bill Wichrowski, a name synonymous with grit and sea lore, is at the heart of a farewell nobody wanted. This is the story behind his final voyage, a journey not into the Bering Sea, but into himself. Wild Bill has been part of Deadliest Catch lore for years. He's steered vessels like Kodiak and led crews through monstrous storms, crab hauls, and sheer survival. But toward the end of Season 19 in 2023, he dropped a bombshell, a diagnosis of prostate cancer. Since then, his life and his show have intersected in deeply personal ways, revealing a man fighting not just waves, but mortality itself. When the show returned for Season 20, the audience saw something different. Not just the daring sea runs, not just the crew challenges, but Bill undergoing treatment, going through medical procedures and still returning to the deck. He told fans, "I'm going to keep going until I actually can't." He hoped his honesty would encourage others to test early. He admitted the hormone treatments were brutal. He admitted the physical toll was real, but he refused to disappear quietly. As 2025 approached, viewers noticed his absence. Discovery announced that Bill wouldn't appear in Season 21. His voice remained in social media updates. He shared that after radioactive seeds and hormone treatment, his cancer numbers looked promising. He said he seemed to be cancer-free. The fight, however, is rarely simple. He spoke of side effects, of life altered. He spoke of the need to focus on health, to step back from the deck so he could heal. Crab boats would sail without him, but his story would echo across every wave. Between the roar of the engines and the howling salt wind, there's a silence only a few can hear, the silence of a man who has seen it all. Bill, Wild Bill. Wichrowski's journey has never been just about catching crab or conquering waves. It's about endurance, leadership, and the kind of courage that comes only when you've looked danger in the eye 1,000 times and kept going anyway. For years, he's been more than a captain to fans. He's been a mentor, a fixture, a living legend of the Deadliest Catch fleet. Every episode he helmed was a story in itself. A storm survived, a crew tested, a moment of triumph carved out of chaos. Through the decades, he's seen seas boil, deals fail, and crew members fall to exhaustion, frostbite, and heartbreak. Yet no storm ever truly broke him until the one he couldn't see coming. This battle was different. It wasn't out there beyond the horizon. It was within him. When Deadliest Catch returned for Season 20, viewers noticed something had changed. Beneath that same sharp humor and old-school authority, there was a weariness in Bill's eyes, a weight he carried quietly. Cameras that once captured fearless confrontations with 40-foot waves now caught glimpses of something far more human, a man confronting his own vulnerability. Scenes showed Bill in clinics, receiving injections, sitting pensively in waiting rooms while the hum of machines replaced the roar of engines. Viewers who had always known him as unstoppable watched him face the one thing no captain can control: time. The fatigue began to show in his shoulders, the energy of his voice a little lower. But when the call came to return to the deck, he still showed up. We saw him back on board, directing the crew, pushing himself beyond comfort. Each trap he lifted felt heavier, every command more deliberate. But quitting wasn't an option. "I'm going to keep going until I actually can't," he once said. Those words became a reflection of who he's always been, the kind of leader who believes that purpose keeps you alive. And even while he battled through treatments, Bill remained present for his audience. He shared updates online, not out of pity, but out of honesty. "Lots of folks asking about cancer treatment progress," he wrote. "Happy to say numbers are great. I seem to be cancer-free now." Those words were like a breath of relief for fans around the world. But beneath them, there was something deeper, a man using his platform to tell others, "Don't wait. Don't ignore the signs. Get checked." It became part of his legacy, an awareness born from struggle. Not just fighting for himself, but for every man too proud, too busy, or too scared to face the truth about his health. Bill had turned his pain into a message, his diagnosis into a mission. But even as hope flickered, the decision to step away from the show was heavy. Discovery later confirmed that Wild Bill wouldn't appear in Deadliest Catch Season 21. To the casual viewer, it might have sounded like just another cast change. But for longtime fans, it felt like the end of an era. The sea that once echoed his voice now sails without his presence. The boats still head out. The cameras still roll. New captains rise. But there's an emptiness in the air. A missing heartbeat in the fleet. Bill's laughter, that quick-fire sarcasm, those gruff one-liners that somehow carried warmth, all of it now lives in memory. Fans responded in waves. Online communities filled with tributes, favorite clips, and emotional posts. I watched Bill push through crests no one else would, one wrote. Another said, "He taught me why you never give up at sea." Crew members shared their own stories. Of his toughness, his fairness, his no-nonsense respect for the ocean. One former deckhand said, "He didn't just teach us how to fish, he taught us how to fight. That's what makes this farewell different." It's not just about the loss of a television figure. It's about saying goodbye to a symbol of perseverance. Wild Bill wasn't perfect, and that's exactly why fans loved him. He was raw, unpredictable, and completely real, the kind of man who could curse a storm one minute and share a life lesson the next. Looking forward, the question everyone's asking is simple. Will he ever return? Maybe, maybe not. But what's clear is that Bill's story isn't defined by absence. His legacy isn't just the footage that aired. It's the inspiration left behind. He's proof that even when the world feels cold and unforgiving, you can face it with humor, grit, and heart. Some battles take you off the deck, but they don't take away your spirit. The sea still calls to him, and you can feel that call in every shot of the Bering waves, every echo of an engine in the night. Even if he never returns to the Kodiak or the wheelhouse again, part of him will always navigate those waters. Deadliest Catch without Wild Bill feels incomplete. But perhaps that's what loss really is, the quiet realization that someone's absence proves how much they mattered. His final voyage isn't just a goodbye. It's a lesson in strength, vulnerability, and acceptance. So when the next storm rolls across the Bering, when the next captain takes the helm, somewhere beyond those gray waves, there's a whisper of the man who once ruled them. A man who faced death and disease with the same stubborn courage that kept him alive through decades of storms. Bill Wichrowski's story reminds us that legends don't fade when the cameras stop rolling. They live in the hearts they touched, in the seas they tamed, and in the stories that keep their name alive. Because in every wave that crashes, in every deckhand's shout, and in every sunrise breaking over the Bering Sea, Wild Bill still sails on.